You're listening to Greater Good Radio Hawaii. Please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. Today's guest is Bob Hiam, President and CEO of Hawaii Medical Service Association, a nonprofit mutual benefit association which provides health care coverage to more than half of the state's population.
Bob, what do you think has been the most important aspect or trait that has led you to become the CEO?
Well, I think, again, I think being at that right place at the right time, and certainly having built up the career from the government program side, then I took over data processing, and then I took over the finance department. So about the time when the people were ready to move on and retire, I was in a position where I was a senior officer, and I had had a lot of experience on what makes a company run, both from the operations side, the financial side, and the marketing side. So, I think that and having very good mentors. My predecessor was a gentleman named Marvin Hall, and I had essentially worked for Marvin almost all my career, either directly or, a couple levels up he was. But, that sort of mentoring helped a lot, I think.
Can you share a story about being in the right place at the right time? Because there's a couple of things also that you have to have. One, you have to be prepared for it, and then you have to take advantage of it. So maybe your favorite story of...
Well, I'll let you in on one secret. I don't know that I ever felt prepared for any of it. And I think you're there and you're moving along and somebody says, oh, you're going to be the new manager of this area. And outwardly you say, that's great, that's fine. And inwardly you say, boy, I hope I can do this because I haven't done this before. And I think that gets you moving and makes you work a little harder to prove you can. What I mean, if you're in a company that isn't growing at all and people aren't moving at all, then realistically you probably aren't going to have much of a career path. That lesson I think I got when I first graduated, and I was out interviewing with other companies, and I went in and I thought I got my degree in psychology. And so I thought, well, maybe personnel. And I'd go in and make cold calls on these companies and talk to the personnel officer. Finally, one of them said, you're basically coming in here, and our personnel shops are maybe 3 or 4 people, and you're telling me you want a management career in personnel, and you're essentially telling me you want my job, and I'm not planning to go anywhere. So I think that was a good story to kind of open my eyes that maybe you need to sort of move to where the opportunities might be as opposed to keeping too narrowly focused in something.
So where do you think that, passion comes into this? Because a lot of people that come on, they talk about they found their passion and they didn't get caught up in money issues or so on, and things kind of worked out. What's your take on something like that?
Yeah, one is if you don't like what you're doing or you don't like the people you work with, I would think it'd be very hard to get up every morning and come into work and face that. And, we have people that come to HMSA and they're there for some time and it isn't the right fit and they go somewhere else and they do very well. And I think that's great that they found the right place. But I think if you don't believe in what you're doing or you think this is the most boring job in the world and you can't wait until your lunch or then you probably should look around for something else. And and not everybody's passion is going to be the same.
You mentioned earlier about mentors. Are you able to share with us some of the important lessons they had taught you to be prepared for the CEO position or just to be a leader?
Well, I think the one that comes to mind, again, with my predecessor, is that he was never one to dwell on your mistakes. And if anybody goes through and doesn't make any mistakes, they probably didn't, do enough, take enough risk. But it was, okay, you did that, I hope you learned from it, let's get behind us and let's move on. And to me, that was really a key in giving you confidence that, you could try something that went wrong, you go and say, I made a mistake here, I learned from it, and somebody wasn't going to fire you. And I think, I feel that I kind of carry that forward, that I think that people always try to do their best in a job, or most do. I can't imagine somebody wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to go in and see how I can screw up today. That just doesn't happen. So, I usually give people the benefit of the doubt. And, and I guess as opposed to my feelings in taking on more responsibility, I probably tended to push people in before they were ready, before they thought they were ready. But knowing that they would just work harder and that they would gain it and they'd be in control of it.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.